Welcome everyone to Bhakti-sastri and Gita-sastri class. Let's chant the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Padamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanshcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurdushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, you chant the Mangalasharans of Bhagavad-Gita, Lord Krishna and Vyasadeva. Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Fullarvindayata Patra Netre Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vaitraikapane Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gitamrita Duhe Namaha. We were discussing introduction to Bhagavad Gita in the session yesterday. We spoke about Mangalacharan from introduction. And then we spoke about Krishna, Arjuna and Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of Bhagavad Gita, the spirit of Bhagavad Gita, all that was described. Request you to kindly share some points, if you remember, from yesterday's session. Then we'll go to the topic today, which is 5 basic truths of Bhagavad Gita. So if you remember something from yesterday, any one point?
Prabhuji, may I try?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Mangalacharan has 3 parts. First is Vastu Nirdesh, second is the Namaskara, and third is the Ashirvad.
It's not Vastu, it is Vastu.
Vastu.
Vastu, what does Vastu means? Object.
Object, material.
Object, right? So Vastu Nirdesh.
Yeah, Vastu Nirdesh.
Okay, fine.
Why it is called Gita Upanishad? Because it is a philosophical book.
Why Gita is Upanishad? Because it is philosophical. Okay.
Prabhuji, may I try?
Yes, Prabhu.
Actually, we are. May I try, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Actually, we are in the material existence, and our main focus should be to get rid out of this material existence.
Our main purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to come out of material existence. Because in material existence, we are always in anxiety,
Okay.
suffering. Everyone is suffering. What is the cause of that anxiety?
Material existence.
Because we have
We are
forgotten
trying to
our
be permanent in an
relationship with
impermanent world.
We are trying to be permanent in a
Temporary.
place of impermanence. So that's why there is anxiety. We are trying to protect what we have because we have the fear of losing it, and we are trying to get things that we don't have, and we have an anxiety about getting them. Okay, any other thing else from yesterday?
Knowledge
Knowledge
what
is kept alive by not just knowing it or by understanding it. It should be by living in it. Right.
Yeah, very good. Knowledge is completely known, not just by knowing it or understanding it, it is by applying it and living it. So that knowledge is called living knowledge. That knowledge is not dead. Otherwise, knowledge can also become a burden when it is dead. Yes,
The
Sharada.
ideal student of the Bhagavad-Gita is a devotee, a friend, and a direct student, as Arjuna was.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
and
That's
to
the best
address
student.
Guruji, may I try?
Yeah, one at a time, please. Shweta Mataji.
We have not only forgotten our father, but we don't know whether our father exists or not.
So we have forgotten who the Father is. More than that, we also don't accept that there is a Father, which means there is a God. We don't even accept that. That is the general mindset of people these days. So yes, anything else? Aladini Gopi Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Jigyasa, Brahma Jigyasa, Artha and Dharma Jigyasa.
So there is Kama Jigyasa. More than that, higher than that is Artha Jigyasa. Higher than that is Dharma Jigyasa. And then higher than that is Brahma Jigyasa.
Prabhuji, may I try?
Yeah, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we also read about 5 rasas yesterday. Shanta rasa, Dasya rasa, Sakya
Sakhya Rasa.
rasa, Sakya rasa,
Sakhya.
Sakya rasa, Vatsalya rasa, and Madhurya rasa.
Yes. All right. Kavita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. We have learnt an important lesson that we all are in a position of Arjuna, and Srila Prabhupada is in a position like representing Krishna, and we should surrender to Srila Prabhupada to get the actual knowledge of Bhagavad Gita.
Yes. We can understand the purpose of Srila Prabhupada only if we are surrendered to Srila Prabhupada. Then Srila Prabhupada can help us understand. Once I remember, I was in Mumbai. There's a temple there in Mumbai in Mira Road. So I was walking out of the temple and I just bumped into one young boy on the street. So this boy was coming from Bhakti-Vedanta Hospital, which is just walking distance from the temple. And then he greeted me and then he told me that I'm very much inspired by Srila Prabhupada. So I asked him, what are you inspired about? So he said, at such an old age, he went outside India and he did so much work for the world and now he's so famous everywhere. Everyone knows him. So I'm very much inspired by him. So then I said, that's very nice. So then he told me that please pray that I can always remain inspired by Srila Prabhupada. So I said, okay, I'll pray. But then you want to be inspired by Srila Prabhupada. Did you ever ask Srila Prabhupada whether he wants to inspire you or not? which means you want Prabhupada to inspiration from Prabhupada, but then did you ask Prabhupada's permission or seek his blessings that he can inspire you? There is a mentality of people that you can get something from someone without actually having that person's permission or grant. You know, nowadays people steal other people's, piece of music or piece of some skill, and then they say, I have done it. They put their name on it. You know? So people have a general tendency that you take something from someone else, and then without giving due rights to that person, you claim the ownership. This is mine. Mhm. So that person saying, I want to be inspired by Prabhupada, and then be inspired by Prabhupada and do what? And do for whom? Srila Prabhupada did for the world. He did for his spiritual master. He did it for Krishna. But I'll be inspired by Prabhupada to do what? And for whom? The point is, someone can be inspired by Prabhupada when Srila Prabhupada wants to inspire him or her. And that will come by blessings of Srila Prabhupada and mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Similarly, I can just buy Bhagavad-Gita as it is and I can just start reading it. But I'll understand the purport of Bhagavad-Gita as it is when I have the mercy and blessings of the author of Bhagavad-Gita as it is, that is Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, we are in Arjuna's position and Prabhupada is in Krishna's position. Just like Arjuna had devotion to Krishna, we need to have devotion to Srila Prabhupada to understand Bhagavad Gita as it is, and all other books given by him. Right? Okay, done. Are we done with all the points? Something else you remember? Sankarshan, Vishnu Prabhu? Prabhuji,
Human struggle should not be to have permanency at the place where the thing is permanent.
Yeah. We should not struggle to make this world permanent or have permanent things in this world. It's not possible. Aarti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. To understand Bhagavad Gita, at least theoretically, we have to accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes, we have to theoretically at least accept, even if we have not realized that Krishna is Bhagavan. Theoretically, we must accept that he is Bhagavan. That much is required. Correct.
Yes.
And one last point, Sharada Mataji.
Prabhuji, those who are convinced that no matter what, that being in the material world is actually means problems, that there is always going to be suffering, such a person is fit to understand the Gita. Or for such a person, the Gita is
Bhagavad
spoken.
Gita is, one who understands this.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So we continue now. Tulasi Mataji, last point we take from you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, pranams. So Arjuna is a pure devotee of Krishna, and he actually isn't ignorant, but he was put into the ignorant so we could get this knowledge and Krishna could speak Bhagavad Gita to him so we could all benefit from this knowledge.
Correct.
Mm.
Yes. So, fine. Now let's go to the next topic, which is the 5 subject matters of Bhagavad Gita. These 5 subject matters are very nicely explained by Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan in which book? In the book called Govinda Bhashya. And that's why Prabhupada dedicated Bhagavad Gita as it is to Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan. Right? The whole Bhagavad Gita covers these 5 subject matters. They are Ishvara, Jiva, Prakrti, Kala, and Karma. So, very technical presentation actually is given here in this introduction of these 5 basic truths. Important to understand. We'll start reading. The subject of the Bhagavad Gita entails the comprehension of 5 basic truths. First of all, the science of God is explained. The science of God means science of Ishvara. And then the constitutional position of the living entities, jivas. There is Ishvara, which means the controller. And there are jivas, the living entities, which are controlled. If a living entity says that he is not controlled, but that he is free, then he is insane. The living being is controlled in every respect, at least in his conditioned life. So in the Bhagavad-Gita, the subject matter deals with the Ishvara, the supreme controller, and the jivas, the controlled living entities. Then Prakrti, material nature and time, the duration of existence of the whole universe or the manifestation of material nature, and karma, activity are also discussed. The cosmic manifestation is full of different activities. All living entities are engaged in different activities. From Bhagavad Gita, we must learn what God is, which means what Ishwar is, what the living entities are, which means what the jivas are, what Prakriti is, what the cosmic manifestation is, how it is controlled by time, and what the activities of the living entities are. That is karma. So from Gita, we must understand these 5 subject matters. Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma. Fine. Next paragraph. Krishna Mataji.
One of these 5 basic subject matters in Bhagavad Gita, it is established that, out of these 5 basic subject matters in Bhagavad Gita, it is established that the Supreme Godhead or Krishna or Brahman or the Supreme Controller or Paramatma, you may use whatever name you like, is the greatest of all. The living beings are in quality like the Supreme Controller. For instance, the Lord has control over the universal affairs of material nature, as will be explained in the later chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Material nature is not independent. She is acting under the directions of the Supreme Lord. As Lord Krishna says, Maya Dyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. This material nature is working under my direction. When we see wonderful things happening in the cosmic nature, we should know that behind this cosmic manifestation, there is a controller. Nothing could be manifested without being controlled. It is childish not to consider the controller. For instance, a child may think that an automobile is quite wonderful to be able to run without a horse or other animal pulling it. But a sane man knows the nature of the automobile's engineering arrangement. He always knows that behind the machinery there is a man, a driver. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the driver under whose direction everything is working. Now, the jivas or the living entities have been accepted by the Lord, as we will note in the later chapters, as his parts and parcels. A particle of gold is also gold, a drop of water from the ocean is also salty, and similarly, we, the living entities, being part and parcel of the Supreme Controller Ishwar or Bhagavan, Lord Sri Krishna, have all the qualities of the Supreme Lord in minute quantity because we are minute Ishwaras, subordinate Ishwaras. We are trying to control nature as presently we are trying to control space or planets, and this tendency to control is there because it is in Krishna. But although we have a tendency to lord it over material nature, we should know that we are not the supreme controller. This is explained in Bhagavad-Gita.
Thank you. So of these 5 subject matters, the supreme is Ishvara. He is the controller of all other 4. Jivas are controlled by Ishvara. Prakriti is controlled by Ishvara. Kal is controlled by Ishvara. And of course, karma is also happening under the control of Ishvara. He is the supreme controller. That's why here it is explained how the material nature is not independent. Srila Prabhupada is giving that explanation. Why is he giving that explanation? Because the entire modern science by which we all are infatuated so much, it teaches about the power of nature without teaching about the power of the person behind nature. The whole material science. It is talking so much about nature, but it hardly talks about the personality behind the nature. You know? So Srila Prabhupada is saying that this nature is not independent. There is a person behind this nature. And you need to accept that personality. So, therefore, so much of explanation that things may seem to be happen automatically, but nothing is automatic. Everything is controlled. Everything is designed, well, organized like that. An example is also given of a car and a driver, an automobile. And then, since the living entity Jiva is a particle of God, no? Similarly, therefore, the Jiva has qualities like that of God. So Srila Prabhupada is trying to now explain here that why people in this world are trying to control material nature. How are we trying to control material nature? Can you give some examples?
Prabhuji, may I try?
Putting someone
Yes.
on ventilator.
Huh?
Yeah, dams, for example.
Okay, dams, making dams, trying to control nature. And
Putting someone on ventilator to increase the time period.
putting someone in?
On ventilator.
On ventilator. Okay. Yes. And look at your ceiling. Do you have a fan hanging from the ceiling?
No.
So that is trying to control material nature.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't it? Very simple. So there's so many ways we are trying to control the material nature. Everyone is trying to do that. So now, why are we trying to control the material nature? Why are we trying to control the material nature? Because Krishna has the quality to control, or Ishwar has the quality to control. And I'm a part and parcel of Ishwar, so I also have the quality to control. That's why. Right? But what is the problem? The problem is in the last line. The problem is, though we are trying to control, we have a tendency to control, we should know that we are not the supreme controller. That is a problem. Therefore, when we try to control and when we try to fix things, our solution itself creates another problem. Isn't it? We are trying to control and fix things, but our solution creates another problem. Just like you take a medicine pill, that medicine maybe cures one disease, but then it leaves some side effects. So it's a solution containing another problem. What is the problem with fan? Is there any problem with fan? What is the problem with fan? It's a solution, but it also has a problem. What is that problem?
Power consumption.
Power consumption. Any other problem? No problem.
Potential, I don't know.
The problem is that
The raw
the
materials,
fan
probably.
rotates in one direction, right? It rotates in one direction. So as per Ayurveda, if you sit in a place where there is wind moving in just one direction, either clockwise or anti-clockwise, that wind is going to suck away your vital energy. So you sit under the fan for a long time. After that, you start feeling so, lazy. You feel as if so much of energy has been drained out of your body. So that is this problem now. It is a solution, but it has a problem. Therefore, at night, if you sleep right below the fan, in the morning when you get up, your body is paining. The body becomes stiff. So that's the problem with that movement. Like that. So there is a solution, but then there is a problem. Similarly with air conditioner, there is a solution, but the use of air conditioner makes the bones brittle. Therefore, when nowadays people fall, even if it's a very small accident, there is easily a break in the bone. There is a fracture because the bones have become brittle because of air conditioner. So like that, problems are there, right? So the point here is not that we should not look for solution. The point is that even if you create solutions, the solutions will not be complete in themselves because we are not the supreme controller. And that's what Bhagavad Gita is trying to explain, that jivas, though they have controlling nature, they cannot supremely control, and therefore they should not unnecessarily use their controlling nature. It is going to create more problem rather than a solution. Then what should they do? They should accept the control of Krishna. That's what they should do. They should accept the control of Krishna. Rather than they controlling, they should accept the control of Krishna. Let's explain. Now, next paragraph. What is material nature? Rutvicha Mataji, please read.
What is material nature? This is also explained in the Gita as inferior Prakriti, inferior nature. The living entity is explained as the superior Prakriti. Prakriti is always under control, whether inferior or superior. Prakriti is female, and she is controlled by the Lord just as the activities of a wife are controlled by the husband. Prakriti is always subordinate, predominated by the Lord, who is the predominator. The living entities and material nature are both predominated, controlled by the Supreme Lord. According to the Gita, the living entities, although parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, are to be considered Prakriti. This is clearly mentioned in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita. Apareyam itastva anyam prakritim vidime param jiva bhutam. This material nature is my inferior Prakriti, but beyond this is another Prakriti, jiva bhutam, the living entities.
So Prakriti refers to material Prakriti or material nature, and this is also controlled by the Supreme Lord. So both the jivas and the material nature are controlled by Supreme Lord. But then the jivas are called superior Prakriti and material nature is called inferior Prakriti. The reason being, the jivas are conscious, material nature is not conscious. So that's what makes the jiva superior and material nature inferior. Now the problem here is that when the jiva forgets that I'm not the supreme controller and starts behaving like a supreme controller, then this material nature, which is inferior to the jiva, it becomes superior to the jiva and starts controlling the jiva. Very interesting. Though the jiva should control material nature, it starts happening the other way. The material nature starts controlling the jiva. When the jiva starts thinking that I am the supreme controller. Next paragraph. Aladini Gopi Mataji, please read.
Material nature itself is constituted by three qualities: the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of ignorance. Above these modes, there is eternal time. And by a combination of these modes of nature and under the control and purview of eternal time, there are activities which are called karma. These activities are being carried out from time immemorial, and we are suffering and enjoying the fruits of our activities. For instance, suppose I am a businessman and I have worked very hard with intelligence and have amassed a great bank balance. Then I am enjoyer. But then say I have lost all the money in business. Then I am a sufferer. Similarly, in every field of life, we enjoy the results of our work or we suffer the results. This is called karma.
So there is material nature, and material nature is made up of three qualities: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Maya, material nature, is made up of gunas. Therefore, Maya is called Gunamayi. Devi Hesha Gunamayi, Mam Maya Duratyaya. Right? Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. So these gunas, they act on the jiva or the conditional living entity. under the control of kala, time. And then when the jiva under the control of kala and three modes of material nature acts, whatever that jiva does, that is called karma. The jiva is always acting under some inspiration. Either that inspiration can come from Krishna's spiritual energy, or that inspiration can come from Krishna's material energy. When the jiva acts under the inspiration of material energy of Krishna, that action is called karma. When the jiva acts under the inspiration of the spiritual energy of Krishna, that action is called bhakti. Fine. Very simple example. Let's say I'm acting under the inspiration of someone in this material world who is not a devotee. Then I'm just engaging in karma. But when I'm acting under the direction of a pure devotee of Krishna, then even if I'm doing an ordinary activity, that ordinary activity becomes bhakti. That means under whose inspiration I am functioning, that decides what I'm doing. Is that karma or is it bhakti? Okay. So when we engage in karma, then that karma produces some result. Either it is a good result or it's a bad result. If it's a good result, then I enjoy. If it's a bad result, then I suffer. Fine. When you suffer, what happens then? Then you start thinking, maybe I did not do this thing in the right manner. So I should now next time do it in the right manner. Then I'll enjoy. So the jiva is continuously in this world just doing this only. Trying to do things, taste the result, either be happy with the result or be miserable with the result, and then again trying to change the way he or she functions. And in this way, trying to enjoy or suffer, right? Fine. So next paragraph, Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, Jiva, the living entity, Prakriti, nature, Kal, eternal time, and karma are all explained in Bhagavad-Gita. Out of these five, let's continue. Sharada Mats, continue. Out of these five.
Out of these five, the Lord, the living entities, material nature, and time are eternal. The manifestation of Prakriti may be temporary, but it is not false. Some philosophers say that the manifestation of material nature is false. But according to the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, or according to the philosophy of the Vaishnavas, this is not so. The manifestation of the world is not accepted as false, it is accepted as real but temporary. It is likened unto a cloud which moves across the sky, or the coming of the rainy season which nourishes greens. As soon as the rainy season is over, and as soon as the cloud goes away, all the crops which were nourished by the rain dry up. Similarly, this material manifestation takes place at a certain interval, stays for a while, and then disappears. Such are the workings of Prakriti. But this cycle is working eternally. Therefore, Prakriti is eternal, it is not false. The Lord refers to this as my Prakriti. This material nature is the separated energy of the Supreme Lord. And similarly, the living entities are also energy of the Supreme Lord, although they are not separated but eternally related. So the Lord, the living entity, material nature, and time are all interrelated and are all eternal. However, the other item, karma, is not eternal. The effects of karma may be very old indeed. We are suffering or enjoying the results of our activities from time immemorial. But we can change the results of our karma or our activity, and this change depends on the perfection of our knowledge. We are engaged in various activities. Undoubtedly, we do not know what sort of activities we should adopt to gain relief from the actions and reactions of all these activities. But this is also explained in the Bhagavad-Gita. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So it is said that Prakrti, it is temporary. It's not false. It is temporary. Example is given of clouds in the sky. The cloud is not there always. Sometimes it is there, sometimes it's not there. But when it is not there, one cannot say now the clouds are completely, destroyed. They will never come again. The clouds will not come anymore. No. Next time when the rainy season comes, the clouds are going to come again. Only for some time the clouds have disappeared. That's how material nature is. It appears, it disappears. It appears, it disappears. Yeah? So it's an eternal concept, but it has temporary manifestation. So material nature is eternal, right? Whereas Krishna's spiritual world, that is also eternal place. However, it doesn't have this coming and going, appearing and disappearing manifestation. It's always there. Therefore, in the spiritual world, there is eternal present. In material world, there is past, present, and future. Why past, present, and future? Because it is coming, it is staying, it is going. It is coming again, it is staying, it is going. So time has three divisions. It existed in the past, it is existing in the present, it will exist in the future. But in spiritual world, time exists only in one state. There is no past of time, there is no future of time. There is present, and always the present is there. So it's called the eternal present. That's the difference between material and spiritual. Okay. Now, why so much of technical information here about material nature? Because the point here Srila Prabhupada is trying to make is you are permanent. You are a permanent soul. So how can you stay happily in this impermanent material nature? You cannot. You cannot. So for that, you have to go to the permanent spiritual world. Fine. Any other point which I missed here? Yeah, one very important line. Karma is not eternal. The effects of karma may be very old indeed. We are suffering or enjoying the results of our activities from time immemorial, long time. We are, then we can change the results of our karma, and this depends on the perfection of our knowledge. We are engaged in various activities. Undoubtedly, we do not know what sort of activities we should adopt to gain relief from the actions and reactions of all these activities. But that is also explained in the book. Okay.
Prabhuji, I have a question
Yes, Mataji.
regarding karma. But karma is not a balance sheet, right, Prabhuji? Here it is given like we can change, it depends on the perfection of our knowledge. So we have to face whatever the actions we have already performed, right?
Yes. Yes. But then you can stop. You can stop performing new actions for which you will have to suffer in future. You can stop that. So I can change my karma.
That is for the actions which we have not done, but for the actions which we have done, we should anyhow face them, right?
The actions which you have done, for that the reaction is going to come to you. But then how that reaction is going to come to you is decided by Krishna and the other authorities. So now, on what basis they bring that reaction to you, they have a complete freedom in that. if we take to Krishna consciousness, we surrender to Krishna, then Krishna may sometimes also reduce those reactions. The degree of those reactions may also get reduced because he's completely independent. He may say, okay, no problem, let's reduce the reaction. Right? So when here it is being said that you can change your karma, it's not being told to us that you did something in the past and now you can change the reaction or the result of that thing what you did in the past. What is being said is you can change your karma means you can completely get rid of your entire karma. That can be done.
Got it.
So
Prabhuji,
karma as a part of your life can be completely removed from your existence. That can be done. Then how do we do that? So that we do by engaging in Krishna conscious activities, which is nishkama karma or akarma it is called. Right?
Prabhuji, material nature or Prakrti is Durga Devi only, no?
Material nature or Prakrti is Durga Devi. Durga Devi is the deity behind material nature or Prakrti. She is the deity or personality behind that. Just like there is earth we call Bhumi. So what is this earth? This earth is the planet, Lok, Bhulok. So now there is a personality behind that Bhulok and that is called Bhumi Devi. Similarly, there is wind, Vayu. Vayu is a material element. But then there is a personality behind Vayu who is called Vayu Devata. Similarly, there is material nature or Prakriti, which is one of these 5 basic truths. And then there is a personality behind that Prakriti, and that is called Durga. So, Prakriti is not conscious, but Durga Devi is conscious.
Prakrti is not conscious, Durga Devi is conscious means?
Because she is a person. Prakriti is not a person. Prakriti is energy. Right? We'll come to that consciousness topic next. We'll understand that too. Fine. So now whatever we are discussing, what is the nature of these topics? This is complete philosophy, isn't it? And this is all given in Bhagavad-Gita. Therefore, Gita is called Gita-Upanishad. Okay. So what we have understood so far from this table, we can just quickly summarize. These are 5 tattvas: Ishvara tattva, Jiva tattva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma. In English, Supreme Lord, living entity, material nature, eternal time, activity. So of these, which all are eternal? We just read that.
Ishvara, Jiv,
Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala. Karma? Not.
no.
Of these, who all are conscious?
Ishvara,
Ishwar, Jiv, Kal.
And
only these.
no one else. Right?
Prakriti is also not conscious.
Prakriti is not conscious. The deity behind Prakriti, who is Durga, is conscious, but Prakriti is not conscious.
Prakriti means the energy.
Prakriti means energy. So, what is the nature of these all? Ishvara is supreme controller.
Prabhuji, sorry
Is
I didn't understand.
what?
You said Durga Devi is conscious, Prakrti is
Huh?
not conscious.
I cannot hear you clearly.
I'm saying Durga Devi is conscious, Prakrti is not conscious.
Because Prakriti is. See, what is Prakriti? What is your understanding by Prakriti? It is energy. It's energy. right? It's nature. Whose nature? Krishna's nature. Now, behind that nature, there is a personality, Durga. So when you say consciousness, consciousness can always be only with a personality. Consciousness can never be in a thing. It's always in a personality. Okay, so we'll discuss consciousness, then it will become clear. Perhaps we don't understand what consciousness is, therefore this doubt is there. Next, Jiva is
Prabhuji,
energy.
sorry, can I ask one question, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
When we say consciousness is not there in nature, but we also say at the same time, for example, when we are making bhoga, even if it is a vegetarian, pure vegetarian food, we say like the reason we also offer to the Lord is obviously it is all His number one. But apart from that, if you have made any mistakes by, killing a plant or whatever, that also we are trying to nullify, right? So in that way, doesn't it mean that there is some low level of consciousness even in material nature?
There's no consciousness in material nature. There is energy. So when you're offering bhoga, that energy gets transformed.
Okay.
But then, Prabhuji, if it's Prakrti's energy, then how come it could be feminine? Like energy can't be feminine and masculine.
Energy, okay. So when you say it's feminine or it's masculine, here there is no such um, actual intent of saying this is a man and this is a woman. Here, feminine and masculine means the concept of controller and controlled. Feminine means controlled, masculine means controller. It's not about gender, it's about controlled and controller. So the word feminine here is used not to indicate the gender, but to indicate the relationship of being controlled by the controller, like Purusha and Prakriti. So Purusha means controller, Prakriti means controlled. So anything which is controlled will be considered as feminine. Even if there is a masculine, if there is a man who is in what one sense masculine, if that man is controlled, then that man also becomes Prakriti because it is controlled. So Jiva is energy, Prakriti, also known as Para Prakriti, Bhagavad-Gita 7.5, and it is related to Ishvara. Then there is material nature, which is Apara Prakriti, Bhagavad-Gita 7.4, and it is separated from Krishna. And there is Kala, which is eternal time. This is also an energy or Shakti of Krishna, Kala Shakti it is called. It is destructive in nature.
Prabhuji, I'm still confused. Can you tell what does comes in Prakrti? Means it's how
What comes
Jiva.
in Prakriti?
Huh.
What comes in Prakriti? Anything which is controlled by Krishna is called Prakriti.
Then Jiva is also Prakriti.
Jiva is also Prakriti. And therefore but Jiva is different from the other Prakriti. Therefore Jiva is called Para Prakriti and material nature is called Apara Prakriti.
Material nature means non-living things.
Non-living things. Bhumi, Jal, Agni, Akash, Vayu, Man, Buddhi, Ahankar. This is material nature. Hmm?
So here in Bhagavad Gita, we are referring to non-living things as Prakrti.
Yes, not just non-living things. You now understand that these 8 elements, whatever they make, that is Prakriti. Later on, we'll understand there are more elements to it, but just for now, 8 elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. This is Prakriti.
Okay.
Hmm?
Okay.
So now, even karma is one kind of Shakti only, because there are only 2 things that exist: Shaktiman and Shakti, energetic and energy. energetic is Krishna or Ishvara. So everything else has to be Shakti or energy. So karma is also called sometimes as Shakti. What is that Shakti in Sanskrit? It is called Avidya Shakti. Avidya Shakti is karma. Fine. So absolute truth means all five of these. When you combine these five, that makes absolute truth or Param Satya. Absolute truth means you understand all these five things. Because you make all these five things together, that is called absolute truth. Why all these five are called absolute truth? Because all these five have come from absolute truth. And all these five make absolute truth. So when you understand all these five, you understand absolute truth completely. Okay? And what is the name of that absolute truth?
Krishna.
Krishna. So Krishna is Ishvara. That same Krishna is also in the form of Jiva. That same Krishna is in the form of Prakrti. That same Krishna is in the form of Kala. And that same Krishna is in the form of Karma. Right? And these five makes absolute truth and absolute whole. So absolute truth, Ishvara, who is the controller, supreme controller in absolute truth, he controls Jiva and Prakriti through Kala. And under the control of Kala, Jiva and Prakriti, they interrelate with each other, and that activity is called karma. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dharma Pranam. Prabhuji, can I ask one question?
Yes, ma'am.
Prabhuji, like you said that Krishna, the same Krishna is Jiva. So does this mean that it is energy? That's why you're saying that it is Jiva.
Yeah, because it is that Jiva is coming from Krishna only. So that Jiva is not outside Krishna, it is inside Krishna.
Okay.
Now, this is something very amazing about the Supreme Lord Krishna. That though you put everything together, that is Krishna, and then still Krishna has a separate identity and existence, completely different from everything else. Now, only Krishna can do something like that. No one else can do anything like that. How does Krishna do that? That he is there, everything is coming from him, and yet he is separate from everything. That's what he says in Bhagavad-Gita chapter 9. Everything is coming from me, everything is related to me, but still I am separate from everything. I'm not dependent on anything. So how does Krishna do that? So then Krishna says, that's my yoga Aishwaram. That's my opulence. That's my mystic focus. Fine. Next paragraph. Sankarshan Vishnu Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. The position of Ishwar, the Supreme Lord, is that of supreme consciousness. The jivas or the living entities, being parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord, are also conscious. Both the living entity and material nature are explained as Prakriti, the energy of the Supreme Lord. But one of the two, the jiva, is conscious. The other, Prakriti, is not conscious. Prakriti is not conscious. That is the difference. Therefore, the jiva Prakriti is called superior because the jiva has consciousness which is similar to the Lord's supreme consciousness, however, and one should not claim that the jiva, the living entity, is also supremely conscious. The difference is the difference in consciousness. The living being cannot be supremely consciousness at one stage of his perfection, and theory that he can be so is misleading theory. Conscious he may be, but he is not perfectly or supremely conscious.
So there's a difference between Ishvara and Jiva. They both are conscious. Prakriti is not conscious. Kal is not conscious. Karma is not conscious. Jiva and Ishvara are conscious. But still, they both are not conscious to the same degree. Ishvara is supremely conscious and Jiva is minutely conscious. How do you translate the word consciousness? A very simple translation of consciousness is awareness. So the Lord is supremely aware. Jiva is minutely aware. Right? And can the Jiva ever become equally aware as God? Not possible. Never possible. It's not at all possible. But are there people who try to do so? Yes, there are people like that. They think they can do so. So they will, in their spiritual training workshops, they will many times tell the practitioner, the student, try to merge your consciousness in the supreme consciousness. When your consciousness will become expanded, then you will also develop universal consciousness. They speak those things, right? And then they think they can become like the supremely conscious being. And that's what they are trying to become, as equal as God. So this is their final, goal.
They are impersonalist only, no?
They're impersonalist. Next paragraph. Shweta Mataji.
The distinction between the Jiva and the Ishvara will be explained in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita. The Lord is Kshetragyana, conscious as is the living being, but the living being is conscious of his particular body, whereas the Lord is conscious of all bodies. Because he lives in the heart of every living being, he is conscious of the psychic movements of the particular jivas. We should not forget this. It is also explained that the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is living in everyone's heart as Ishvara, as a controller, and that he is giving directions for living entity to act as he desires. The living entity forgets what to do. First of all, he makes a determination to act. One minute, act. One minute. To act in a certain way, and then he is entangled in the actions and reactions of his own karma. After giving one type of body, he enters another type of body. As we take off and put upon clothes, as the soul thus migrates, he suffers the actions and reactions of his past activities. These activities can be changed when the living being is in the mode of goodness, insanity, and understand what sort of activities he should adopt. If he does so, then all the actions and reactions of his past activities can be changed. Consequently, karma is not eternal. Therefore, we stated that of five items: Ishvara, Jiva, Prakrti, time, and karma. Four are eternal, whereas karma is not eternal.
So the distinction between Jiva and Ishvara will be explained more in detail in chapter 13. Okay, so we'll look at that time, look at it at that time. Now, the jiva is always being helped by the Ishvara because the Ishvara is supremely conscious and the jiva is not. The jiva forgets many times what it wants to do, and the Ishvara reminds the jiva, this is what we want, and you should work for it. So, the jiva is engaging in different kinds of karma, and by coming to mode of goodness, sattva guna, a jiva can change its mode of action and come out of the cycle of karma. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, sattvic life or mode of goodness is promoted. Try to come to mode of goodness and then change your karma. Change the way you act by being situated in mode of goodness. Fine. Everything is eternal except karma. Now, when we talk about consciousness, what Shiva Prabhupada is talk about it. Fine. Let's just read the next paragraph. Abhay Sena Prabhu. Have to unmute yourself, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. The Supreme Conscious Ishvara is similar to the living entity in this way. Both the consciousness of the Lord and that of the living entity are transcendental. It is not that consciousness is generated by the association of matter. That is a mistaken idea. The theory that consciousness develops under certain circumstances of material combination is not accepted in the Bhagavad Gita. Consciousness may be perversely reflected by the covering of material circumstances, just as light reflected through a colored glass may appear to be a certain color. But the consciousness of the Lord is materially affected. Lord Krishna says, Maya Adekshana Prakrti. When he descends into the material universe, his consciousness is not materially affected. If he were so affected, he should be unfit to speak on transcendental matters as he does in the Bhagavad Gita. One cannot say anything about the transcendental world without being free from materially contaminated consciousness. So the Lord is not materially contaminated. Our consciousness at the present moment, however, is materially contaminated. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that we have to purify this materially contaminated consciousness. In pure consciousness, our actions will be dovetailed to the will of the Ishvara, and that will make us happy. It is not that we have to cease all activities. Rather, our activities are to be purified, and purified activities are called bhakti. Activities in bhakti appear to be like ordinary activities, but they are not contaminated. An ignorant person may see that a devotee is acting or working like an ordinary man, but such a person with a poor fund of knowledge does not know that the activities of a devotee or of the Lord are not contaminated by impure consciousness or matter. They are transcendental to the three modes of nature. We should know, however, that at this point our consciousness is contaminated. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay. Fine. So, four things. What is consciousness? Is it produced by matter or material energy? Is it affected by matter? Is supreme consciousness affected by matter? So, what is consciousness? We said it is awareness. Srila Prabhupada says in the next paragraph, consciousness means I am. What is that? I am. I am is an awareness of one's existence. I exist. I am. Right? I have an existence. So that's called consciousness. One who has this awareness is called a conscious being. Fine. A non-living thing does not have this awareness that I exist. It's not just about whether that thing can move around or not. That thing cannot be aware of itself. But soul is consciousness. It's purely consciousness. It is aware of its existence. Is this consciousness produced by matter? No. Is it produced by material energy? No. It is a quality of the soul. This cannot be produced by material energy. You cannot make consciousness in a laboratory by mixing some material elements, right? Is it affected by matter? Yes. When it is minute consciousness, it is affected by matter. But can the supreme consciousness be affected by matter? No. Right? So that's the difference between Jiva and us, by Ishwar and us. Ishwar can never fall in Maya, but Jiva can fall in Maya because Jiva's consciousness can be affected by matter, whereas Ishwar's consciousness can never be affected by matter. It's not possible. So the Ishwar never falls in Maya, but the Jiva falls in Maya. So when my consciousness is affected by matter, that is called material consciousness. Fine. Look at this table. So when the consciousness is in contaminated state, it is called conditioned consciousness. We are functioning within the three modes, and the activity that we are performing is karma. When the consciousness is pure in state, then it is called liberated consciousness, or mukta, mukti. At that time, we are functioning beyond the modes, and what we are performing is bhakti, devotional service.
I have a question, Prabhuji. Can I ask?
Yes.
Prabhuji, pure devotee is beyond these three modes of material nature, na? Means pure
Yes.
devotee is created only, na?
Yes.
So all the acharyas in iskcon are in pure consciousness.
Yeah. All the devotees who are pure devotees are in pure consciousness.
Okay.
And therefore they are already liberated.
Okay.
And when you or me or someone else also acts in pure consciousness, at that time I'm also, you are also, and that person is also liberated. Beyond the three modes, transcendental. So then that is called bhakti, or pure bhakti, pure devotional service. Fine. So we have to learn to move our consciousness from its contaminated state to pure state. Transform the consciousness from contaminated state to pure state. That's what we are trying to learn in the whole process of Krishna consciousness. Right?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I ask one question?
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I have read in many books of Prabhupada that when our consciousness will be purified, then we will be able to see our real constitutional position. So, Prabhuji, here who will see and like where we will see, and who
You
will
will see. You will see.
like soul.
Yeah, the soul will see. The soul will see in itself one's constitutional position.
So, but Prabhuji, mind is also to be purified. Is it different from consciousness?
See, there are different types of purification process. Um, Mind is a layer on top of intelligence. Intelligence is a layer on top of ego. Ego is a layer on top of consciousness. Consciousness is surrounding the soul. Fine. So now,
Prabhuji, will you please repeat this?
Mind is a layer on top of intelligence. Intelligence is a layer on top of ego. Ego is a layer on top of consciousness, and consciousness is surrounding the soul.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So when there are now two things. One is now, okay, there is a layer on top of mind also. And what is that? That is this gross body. So I can either do my journey of cleaning my whole system in outside to inside fashion, or I can do it from inside to outside fashion. Outside to inside means what? First, I clean the body, then I clean the mind, then I clean the intelligence, then I clean the ego. And when I do all this, I'll reach my pure consciousness. Now, there's other way of doing it. What is the other way of doing it? I first clean my consciousness. Now, when I clean my consciousness, that cleaning of consciousness will automatically clean the ego. And that ego will get cleansed, it will automatically set the intelligence correct. When that intelligence will be properly set, it will automatically purify the mind. When the mind is purified, the gross body also becomes properly situated. So, in the process of Krishna consciousness, we first target at the consciousness. And then other things we try to put in alignment. Therefore, the first teaching that you get in Krishna consciousness process is who you are, change that understanding. You are not this body, you are not this, you are not that. You are an eternal, pure servant of Krishna, which means the consciousness is being correctly set. And then because of that pure consciousness, now the entire system also starts falling in its place. Fine. Cheto Darpanamarjanam. So that Cheta Darpanamarjanam, that is consciousness being cleansed. Mirror of the heart. And let's go to the next paragraph now. When we are materially conditioned or contaminated, we are called conditioned. False consciousness is exhibited under the impression that I am a product of material nature. This is called false ego. Fine. So this is a wrong identification. When Jad Bharata was used as one of the carriers of the palanquin on which Maharaj Rahugana was sitting, this pastime story comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, that there is a king, he's going for a pilgrimage, he's going to a holy place to do some sadhu sangha. But he was not walking, he was not going by a horse cart, chariot, he was being carried on a palanquin. So 4 people were carrying the palanquin, and in one place, one of those, he died. So then they need someone else. So they searched around and they found this man called Jad Bharata. They brought him to become one of the carriers. So when Jad Bharata was carrying the palanquin, he was very careful to not step on any ant walking on the ground. So he was kind of, jumping little bit. And because of that, the palanquin was getting tossed. And Rahugana was feeling very inconvenient in the journey. So Rahugana, that time he told Jarbharata, I will punish you. I will punish you. So that time Jarbharata told Rahugana, what will you punish? Who will you punish? Do you see me? Do you know who I am? Can you see me actually? So this is Jarbharata's pure consciousness, because Jarbharata is not thinking, I am this body and Rahugana is going to punish this body. He's thinking, I am spirit soul. Rahugana cannot even touch that soul. He cannot even see that soul. So how will he punish me? He can only punish this body. I'm not this body. Hmm? So he is in pure consciousness. But then in material world, all are under the impression, I am a product of material nature. I am this body. Isn't it? And this mentality is false ego, false identification. So the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is what? Bhagavad Gita was spoken to liberate one from the bodily conception of life, and Arjuna put himself in this position in order to receive this information from the Lord. One must become free from the bodily conception of life. That is a preliminary activity for the transcendentalist. One who wants to become free, who wants to become liberated, must first of all learn that he is not this material body. Mukti or liberation means freedom from material consciousness. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also the definition of liberation is given. Muktir hitvan yatha rupam sarupena vyavasthitihi. Mukti means liberation from the contaminated consciousness of this material world and situation in pure consciousness. That's mukti. All the instructions of Bhagavad Gita are intended to awaken this pure consciousness, and therefore we find at the last stage of the Gita's instruction that Krishna is asking Arjuna whether he is now in purified consciousness. Purified consciousness means acting in accordance with the instructions of the Lord. This is the whole sum and substance of purified consciousness. Consciousness is already there because we are part and parcel of the Lord, but for us there is the affinity of being affected by the inferior modes. But the Lord, being the Supreme, is never affected. That is the difference between the Supreme Lord and the small individual souls. So the purpose of Gita is to take one from material consciousness to pure consciousness. Right? That's the purpose. In that pure consciousness, when we engage in some activity, that is called bhakti. In contaminated consciousness, we engage in some activity that is called karma. So can I study Bhagavad Gita and still my study of Bhagavad Gita be called as karma?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Why? Because I may study Bhagavad Gita in material consciousness.
Yeah.
Then if I study Gita in material consciousness, what I am doing is only karma. It is
Karma.
not bhakti. So now can I go to the temple and do arti of the Lord in material consciousness?
Yes.
Yes.
So if I do the arti to the Lord in material consciousness, am I doing devotional service?
No.
I'm doing karma. I may go to the street to distribute books written by Srila Prabhupada, but I can do that activity of book distribution in material consciousness.
Karma.
Yes.
Then it
Karma.
becomes karma. So that means anything we do, it can become karma if it is done in material consciousness.
So, Prabhuji, since we are not pure devotees, so our consciousness is contaminated. We identify ourselves with the body.
Yeah.
Now, we have the knowledge that we are not this body, we are the spirit soul, but we
Hmm.
don't have realization.
Hmm.
So, Prabhuji, that means we are doing karma only, na? Whatever sadhana, and whatever temple worship or whatever thing book distribution we are doing karma only. Then how we can convert it to bhakti?
So now you said that we are doing these activities, we are in bodily concept of life, but at least theoretically we know I am spiritual. That means there is a mixture of material consciousness and spiritual consciousness. So what we are doing is bhakti plus karma. It's called Mishra Bhakti, mixed bhakti. So there is pure bhakti, there is no bhakti, and there is mixed bhakti. No bhakti means someone not doing bhakti at all. Pure bhakti means someone doing bhakti in pure consciousness. Mixed bhakti means someone doing bhakti in mixed consciousness. Mixed consciousness means some material consciousness also, some spiritual consciousness also. Right?
Accepting the shastras and accepting the way, so then that means we will do mixed bhakti.
Mixed bhakti. It's mixed consciousness. It's not pure, it is mixed. Now, to the degree it is pure, the results are to that degree, better. So it's a process. You start with no bhakti, and then you want to go to 100% bhakti. Right? So it's a process. Slowly, slowly, the consciousness has to become purified. Okay.
Can be considered as the 3 steps.
Huh?
Can
Sorry.
be considered as the 3 steps.
So we have to speak louder
Can be
into the mic.
considered can be considered as 3 steps. These are the 3 steps.
These are the
First
3
is no bhakti,
steps.
then mixed bhakti, then pure bhakti.
Yeah, you can say 3 steps, but the second step has many steps. The middle step has many steps.
That is
Because
mixed bhakti.
you're going from
Mixed
0
bhakti
to
has many
100.
steps.
Yeah, it has many steps. There can be bhakti in mode of ignorance. There can be bhakti in mode of passion. There can be bhakti in mode of goodness. And then there is bhakti in mode of pure goodness.
Right. Thanks.
So that these 3 levels. Fine. So now what is contaminated consciousness? Srila Prabhupada is giving very nice explanation in the next paragraph about consciousness. What is this consciousness? Let's read this. Tulasi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. What is this consciousness? This consciousness is I am. Then, what am I? In contaminated consciousness, I am means I am the Lord of all I survey. I am the enjoyer. The world revolves because every living being thinks that he is the Lord and creator of the material world. Material consciousness has 2 psychic divisions. One is that I am the creator, and the other is that I am the enjoyer. But actually, the Supreme Lord is both the creator and the enjoyer. And the living entity, being part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is neither the creator nor the enjoyer, but a cooperator. He is the created and the enjoyed. For instance, a part of a machine cooperates with the whole machine. A part of a body cooperates with the whole body. The hands, legs, eyes, and so on are all parts of the body, but they are not actually the enjoyers. The stomach is the enjoyer. The legs move, the hands supply food, the teeth chew, and all parts of the body are engaged in satisfying the stomach because the stomach is the principal factor that nourishes the body's organization. Therefore, everything is given to the stomach. One nourishes the tree by watering its roots, and one nourishes the body by feeding the stomach. For if the body is to be kept in a healthy state, then the parts of the body must cooperate to feed the stomach. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the enjoyer and the creator, and we, as subordinate living beings, are meant to cooperate to satisfy Him. This cooperation will actually help us, just as food taken by the stomach will help all the other parts of the body. If the fingers of the hand think that they should take the food themselves instead of giving it to the stomach, then they will be frustrated. The central figure of creation and of enjoyment is the Supreme Lord, and the living entities are cooperators. By cooperation, they enjoy. The relation is also like that of the master and the servant. If the master is fully satisfied, then the servant is satisfied. Similarly, the Supreme Lord should be satisfied. Although the tendency to become the creator and the tendency to enjoy the material world are there also in the living entities, because these tendencies because these tendencies are there in the Supreme Lord, who has created the manifested cosmic world. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. So here Srila Prabhupada talks about contaminated consciousness. Example, many points are there. I am a product of material nature. I am the creator. I am the enjoyer. I am the controller. I am the Lord of all I survey. So this all is contaminated consciousness. Any more examples of contaminated consciousness?
Are false designations, Prabhuji?
Example, I am an engineer. I am Indian, right? I'm a man. I'm a woman. I'm young. I'm old. All material designations with which if I identify, that's contaminated consciousness. So during a day, most of the time we are functioning in one of these material contaminated consciousness, because we are functioning in a particular designation. I have this designation and I have to act as per that designation.
Prabhuji, product of material nature क्यों contaminated है?
It is contaminated because you are thinking you are made up of matter, but you are not made up of matter. You are pure spirit.
Okay.
Right? So this is all contaminated consciousness. And in the material world, everyone is functioning under that contaminated consciousness. So when we function in contaminated consciousness, we are in ignorance, ajnana, because I don't know my real identity. Isn't it? Examples of pure consciousness?
I'm part and parcel of Krishna.
I'm part and parcel of Krishna. Any other example?
Whatever is done in my life, the credit goes to God only. Everything is done by Him.
Give me example of consciousness. I am. Make your statement like this. I am. Like Mataji said, I am a part and parcel of Krishna. So examples of pure consciousness.
I am eternal.
I am eternal spirit soul.
I am the servant of the Supreme Personality.
I am servant of Supreme Lord, or I am a servant of a devotee of Krishna. So that is pure consciousness. I am a cooperator. I have to cooperate with Lord's plans. Pure consciousness. I have to act as per the will of the Lord. Means I have to be obedient to the Lord. I'm obedient to the Lord. Pure consciousness. Okay, fine.
So, one thing, I have to satisfy the senses of Krishna.
Fine. Yeah. So then again, I'm in pure consciousness. So when we do bhakti in this consciousness, that is pure bhakti. Okay. The identity of the living entity is that the living entity is cooperative. The Lord is the enjoyer and the Lord is the owner. But generally we think I am the owner and therefore I am the enjoyer. It's related. As soon as you claim ownership, you also claim, enjoyment over that object. And it's mine, therefore I want to enjoy it. Right? Like, for example, if a mother takes two kids to the market outside, and then she purchases ice cream and gives one each to each kid. So for one kid, the ice cream melts away and he is not able to eat the ice cream. For the other kid, somehow the ice cream has not melted. And for one kid, the ice cream has melted and is now completely, on the floor. So this second will then try to take the ice cream of the first kid. So what will the first kid say? No, it's mine. I will eat it. It is mine. It is not yours. It is mine. And because it is mine, who is going to eat it? I'm going to eat it. I will enjoy it. Right? So ownership leads to enjoyment. And very soon that enjoyment mentality then gets converted into exploitative mentality. First, we want to enjoy it, and after some time, we want to exploit it. So that is like a very gross enjoyment mentality. Another example for that, when you are very angry, you may pick up your mobile phone and throw it onto the wall. And the mobile phone may break and, the screen is broken, the phone is broken, it's not functioning. So then someone may come and tell you, why did you break the phone? She may start shouting at you. And the simple statement that you will make at that time is, after all, it's my mobile phone. I can break it if I like. I did not break your phone. I broke my phone. So why are you so much, worried about it? So this mentality of I own it leads to enjoyment. Further, it leads to exploitation. And that's why you see in most of the relationships where the other person feels exploited by the partner, whether it's relationship between husband and wife, friends, or employee and employer, and parents and child, any relationship, one person feels exploited by the other person. There are cases like that. And in all cases, you'll find the person who is exploiting has a very strong possessive or ownership mentality over the other person. And therefore, that person is thinking, I can exploit. After all, this person belongs to me. So I can exploit. Right? So this is how psychologically it affects one. But then we have to transfer this mentality of enjoying and owning to Krishna. I don't own, Krishna owns. It belongs to Krishna, it doesn't belong to me. And has to think like that, practice thinking like that. Isn't it? Okay, any questions so far?
We sometimes push our partners to do bhakti. Is this also not right?
We can. That is problem. We can always inspire people to do bhakti. We can sometimes push also someone to do bhakti a little bit. Push is required. Yes. But you cannot force anyone. You can push someone, you can inspire someone. You cannot force anyone to do bhakti. We cannot force anyone to do anything actually.
To children also?
Any other question? Hari Kripa Prabhu, you said, is Varnashram also mixed bhakti?
Yes, Prabhu.
Varnashram is mundane actually. If Varnashram is not done with the proper knowledge of Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then Varnashram is just a mundane system. There is no spirituality or divinity in Varnashram. Therefore, that Varnashram which is devoid of understanding of Krishna as Supreme Lord is called Asuri Varnashram.
Yes, Prabhu. With connection with Krishna, and we can do that is the pure.
So if it is connected to Krishna, then it is Daiva Varnashram. But then in Daiva Varnashram also, if it is only connected to Krishna, but not purely, completely done in pure consciousness, then it is mixed bhakti. It is not pure bhakti.
Okay, Prabhu.
Like I can be a good Brahmana and I can be a good Grihastha. So I am doing Varnashram very nicely because I am being a good Brahmana. I am following my Varna Dharma nicely. And I am being a good Grihastha. So I am following my Ashram Dharma also nicely. So I am doing Varnashram very nicely. But then I am not practicing pure Krishna consciousness. I accept Krishna as God. So there is mixed bhakti there. Therefore, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Varnashram is rejected, no? In the beginning itself. That if you are following Varnashram very nicely, but you don't become devotee of Krishna, you have not developed taste for hearing the pastimes of Krishna, then all that Varnashram is useless.
But it is a stepping stone for higher
It is a
spiritual.
stepping stone only when it is done with the understanding that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So then we call it a Misrama Bhakti.
Then it is mixed bhakti.
Yes.
Right? Then it is karma yoga basically.
Okay.
Mixed bhakti means karma yoga. Karma plus bhakti. Karma yoga.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Ashram dharma is rejected in Srimad Bhagavatam, but we study now that brahmacharya and then
So that is there because we are not completely on spiritual platform. We are on bodily level. So when we are on bodily platform, we have to act as per the body. Therefore, Varnashram is important. For those who are beyond the body, there is no need of Varnashram. They can act beyond Varnashram. They don't have to follow Varnashram because they are beyond the body. But those who are in bodily concept of life, they need Varnashram.
Prabhuji, one question. How you get so much inspired to go in so depth of shastras and do your sadhana? You can tell.
These two questions, how are they related? I mean, depth of Shastra and sadhana.
No, means like you are explaining us, so you know very deep. So everything. So Krishna consciousness, how it is motivated to do.
Uh, Actually, honestly speaking, it's not very deep. It's just that we are not superficially reading. We are trying to look at every single word and statement. That's all. The subject matter is, when the subject matter is present in a very superficial manner, it looks that it is not deep. But when you actually study the subject matter nicely, you will understand it is deep. It's just the approach. That's all. We are in no hurry to complete the book quickly. We're just taking out sufficient time, slowly reading line by line and understanding. So if you take that approach, then automatically you will start seeing that it's a deep subject matter. The subject matter is deep. It's not shallow. It has to be deep, no? Rishi Munis, they used to sit in meditation for hours and hours and then come to realize one line of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Their hours and hours of meditation makes them qualified to realize one line of Bhagavad Gita as it is. So how can we understand that one line of Bhagavad Gita as it is just by superficial, shallow reading? It's not possible. You have to use little bit brain, thinking power. It's required. These are realized statements of great souls. So they cannot be small statements. These are big statements. After years and years of tapasya, they come to such realization. Right?
Prabhuji, desire is
Subject
also
matter.
controlled.
Huh?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, desire is also controlled
Desire is also controlled by
senses. For example, today was the Maharaj class in the temple, Bashapur, and I am in the class in the new class today.
So
Desire
are you
was there at
using a Bluetooth mic?
No, not using the Bluetooth mic. I am on the mobile
Speaker.
phone.
Speaker.
Mobile phone.
Okay. So can you speak close to the speaker, the mic?
Actually, question is desire also controlled? The thing
Are
is that
desires
today
controlled?
there was a Maharaj class in the Bashapur temple.
Yeah, desires
Today,
are also
Maharaj,
controlled.
Desire is also controlled. Achha. Desire is also controlled. Right. This is the answer. And what affects this control? For example, class in the temple
The
and
three modes of
here.
material nature are there. Your past sanskars are there. All that control your desires. Your association is going to have an impact on your desires.
Right, Prabhuji. Okay, thanks.
Prabhuji, can I ask one thing?
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, how can we satisfy the senses of Lord Krishna?
How can we satisfy the senses of Lord Shri Krishna?
And one more thing, chant is doing 60 rounds of chanting is I mean to say that can satisfy, is one way of satisfying the senses of Krishna.
Second part is by chanting Hare Krishna, are we satisfying the
Is one
senses?
way.
Is it
Yes.
one way of satisfying Krishna's senses? Yes. How do you satisfy anyone, Prabhu? By doing what that person asks you to do. That's how you satisfy anyone.
Yes.
Isn't it? Like, for example, today we put a message on the group. We are going to have a class on Bhagavad Gita introduction. So all of you came with the expectation that we are going to talk on Bhagavad Gita as it is, isn't it? But then in the class, if I start teaching you something else, maybe chemistry, then you'll not be satisfied. You'll become dissatisfied. We joined Bhagavad Gita course, not a course on chemistry, isn't it? So how do you satisfy someone? By doing what that person expects from you. So how do we satisfy Krishna? By doing what Krishna expects from us. So what is Krishna expecting from us? That's what is given in Bhagavad Gita. So if you learn that and follow that, you are satisfying Krishna. Now, you said, is chanting Hare Krishna one of the ways? Yes, of course, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Satatam Kirtayantuma. Always chant my glories. So if I do that, I am satisfying Krishna. Isn't it? So satisfaction means, first of all, obedience. You need to be obedient to a person to satisfy that person. Vardayani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, like sometimes in Grihastha ashram, bhakti appears like very tough because like people around us are not all are not devotees, and however it is written here that it is not that we have to cease our activities, rather activities are to be purified. But Prabhuji, like being in their association, like it drags my consciousness again into material and I forget all these things. But when I come to your class, I feel that no, this is important. And when I go back again, the same things are happening. So Prabhuji, how to maintain that consciousness throughout?
So that is an ongoing tug of war that will happen in our life when we are practicing Krishna consciousness. So we'll have to learn. It's kind of a war that you are trying to fight and become victorious in. And we have to learn that every time we fail, we go back, we fight in the right consciousness. So one day we'll become victorious. So it is something which you have to learn. It's a practice. We do nice sadhana, and then we do nice shravana, kirtan, chanting. Then we go out in material environment and try to keep ourselves protected. So the better in cricket match, before they go to play in the ground in the stadium with the other team, they do a lot of net practice. So similarly, when you are out in material environment or materialistic environment, you have to go to that environment. Before that you go to that environment, you have to do a lot of practice. That is the net practice. That is sadhana. So Srila Prabhupada gave us that formula. You get up in the morning, you chant japa, you take darshan of the deities, you attend Mangal Aarti, you read Srimad Bhagavatam, you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, you take some prasadam, and then you go out to do your other things. So then when you Hare Krishna. Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
When you then go out to associate with material energy, you will remain protected because you have done a good sadhana in the morning. And that's what we have to work on. Nice sadhana, good sadhana. Then slowly we will not become affected.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Sankarshan Vishnu Prabhu, last question. Or have you asked already?
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Who said that? Priyanka Matas.
Yes.
Okay.
Prabhuji, you said we cannot force anybody, but we can inspire. Then how about people who are non-devotees? They sometimes don't believe what we say. So can we also share or inspire them?
Yeah, you have to inspire only. There's no other way of doing it. We have to inspire them. You may have to inspire them. You may have to trick them. You may have to sometimes pamper them to take the Krishna consciousness. I
So
remember
maybe,
one story when when we just came to this process of Krishna consciousness. So I remember one story. There was a devotee. He is a devotee now, but earlier he was not a devotee. He was studying an institute. So one of the senior devotees, uh, senior member of that college, a senior student who started practicing Krishna consciousness, he invited this person to some programs. And this person said, I have to study so much. How can I come? I don't have time. He was doing, medical. And in medical, you have to really work hard. So that devotee told him, you don't worry, I'll make all your notes. You come for the program. So that devotee who was a senior, he literally made all his notes for the entire year just to bring him to the programs on Krishna consciousness. And then because of that, this boy started attending the programs, and he thought, such a nice fellow who's making notes for me for free and helping me so much. So why can't I just go for some program? And later on, then that devotee became a brahmachari. Not only he became a brahmachari, he had three brothers. He made all of them also brahmachari. Then his parents also became devotees. Now entire family, three sons, all three sons are brahmachari. One in Kolkata, one in Jharkhand, one in Mumbai. And how did he become a devotee? Another devotee did some homework for him. So like that, sometimes you may have to do some sacrifice for the other person, and that may inspire the other person to take to Krishna consciousness.
Yes, like Prabhuji, we can include them in the seva, right? When we
Yeah,
take
we can do that also sometimes. We can. So we have to devise different means how we can encourage them.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Any other question? No? Now, before you leave, just want to show you something. You may start writing your OBAs, and later at the completion of this unit, you will be also doing your CBA for this unit. So no, I just want to show you a format in which I expect the answers from you. I just wrote it down today on this sheet of paper to show to you how you have to present your essays and CBAs. So first of all, you take a sheet, you give a number to it. Like at the top, I have written page number 1, right? You have to give a number to it. Then on the first sheet, it is always nice to write something to invoke the blessings. Like you can say Hare Krishna, or you can say Shri Guru Gaurang Jayataha, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Jai Shila Prabhupada, something like that. And then if it's an essay, this is for an essay. You have to write your name, you have to write the unit, number, BG means Bhagavad-Gita. Then you have to write essay 1, because there are 2 essays. So which essay is this? Is this the first one or is the second one? And then below that you have to write batch 2025, 26 English. Below that, then you write the question number, and then you write the question also. And then below that, you write the essay. Fine. Now, when you go to the next page, you don't have to write your name and all that on the next page. You can just write the number. In this way, you make one PDF of one essay. Then for the second essay, you make another PDF, and then you submit. After your essay is completed, you have another task. You need to count the number of words of your essay. 765, 921, 1200. You count the number of words in your essay. And on the first page, you write down number of words, how many are there. When you're writing the CBA, you don't have to write the number of words. Other things will remain the same. Fine. And in the CBA also, you have to write your not just the answers, the questions also. Okay. So this is the format you follow. And you give good amount of space on the margin, after the paragraph, before the paragraph, if you're writing a shloka. So make proper, give proper space. Don't make it too congested. Fine. So this is how you follow. And then when you make a PDF, you have to name the PDF also. Your name should be there in the PDF. Plus the subject should be there. Like for example, Madhusudan Vishnu Das, Essay 1, Unit 1. Like that. Okay. Any doubt in this?
Prabhuji, does it have to be handwritten? Can we do it online, like on the computer? Can we
Yeah,
just
you can
print it?
type also, no problem.
Yeah, okay.
But when you type, again, you have to follow the same format.
Sure. Okay, perfect.
Prabhuji, what is the question?
Question is already given to you for the essays. I'm only showing you the format of writing this. Questions are with you. So yes. See you next week. Hare Krishna. Srila